All right, we back in the building. That's your man Dap and T. We got T-Rex up here to my side, and what we're gonna talk about today. Got to do. Oh, now we rowing this time. We gonna roll. You killing me. So what we're gonna talk about today has got to do with Jermaine Dupree's response to him being asked whether or not he had a favorite rapper, female rapper that was in the game right now. So the way he said it, I understood it perfectly. A lot of people took offense to what he said. They decided they wanted to go against him. They went at that man. They went at his throat, talking about, oh well, you don't know nothing about music anyway. And what we had just discussed was that this guy's, I know JD got to be about 50, right? Got to be like late 40s, something like that. He got to be something. He up there. And I ain't saying that he's old. I'm just saying that this man been doing this since he was, he's been a kid. He's been on the road with Houdini back in the day, so that started him off early. Of course, they turned him out to all of the ills and the good parts and the perks of the business early. Became a super producer, built his own label, did all these wonderful things. So many different groups that have been out, that came out during the 90s, that were the big bang to Atlanta music of today, because of all the groups that he put out, like an Escape, like all these other groups that he pumped out.
Chris Cross, Bow Wow,
yeah,
the Brat.
Yeah, the Brat. Exactly. Which, as far as female rappers go, if the Brat would come out of retirement and just start flowing, that would probably be one of my favorites, because I've always loved the Brat. Shout out to Brat. So, but the thing is with that, it's just like, all right, well, they made it a point to not hear the qualifiers of who. When they asked him who was his favorite, they just looked at it like, okay, he was just supposed to pluck some name out of the atmosphere, not of who was relevant, because that's what they were pushing towards. Who was relevant, who's out right now, who's being pushed by the machine that is the music industry. So he said, basically, he didn't have a favorite. And it's okay for him not to have a favorite, but what he said next was the problem that gave everybody the stomach ulcers or whatever it is, was saying that it pretty much all sounded the same, and that it was more or less stripper rap from the group that he was saying that all sounded the same. Now, the issue is that, a lot of the ones that are benefiting from stripper rap, they're the ones that had something to say. Not all the dope MCs that are not, even in that boat, they didn't get alarmed by it, because they knew that they didn't refer to them, but they kind of knew what he was saying. I didn't see too many of them that were like dope female MCs that were sitting around saying like, yo, what about us? What about us? Because they had been saying what about us this whole time, and they knew good and well JD wasn't the one that was holding them back. It was the industry itself that was not trying to give them light, because of the fact that it was much better to see somebody whose rapping ability on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 6, but they out there with their boobs and their butt out, than having somebody who ain't got nothing out and they rapping. Like
objectified as a sex symbol,
exactly,
in order to get where you're trying to go to.
Right.
Well, not necessarily where you're trying to go to, but what the company feels like sex will always sell.
Sex will always sell.
Or the allure of sex will always sell.
It will. If I get out here and I'm wearing a Michael Myers mask and a jumpsuit, and I open up my own car wash and I'm standing out there washing cars with that on every day, and then somebody opens up a car wash next door and they bikini car wash, who you think gonna sell out? Who you think gonna get more car washes every day? It just makes sense, So that's what's been happening. That's been the tie-in of where we're at, and everybody was talking about the man so bad. But again, as far as JD's credentials is concerned, Trey,
he's at the top of the game.
You already on?
Yeah, we on.
Oh, I didn't know that you started recording again.
No, yeah, we've been back recording. We still on.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, like, you can't, question the validity of what he's saying or where he is with what he's talking about, because basically that's what it is. So, name the groups that you were talking about before. Saying the City Girls,
right? Saying
Megan Thee Stallion,
Cardi B,
Nicki
Minaj.
Now, I pulled Cardi out of the situation because of the fact that, let's say whoever, like, on the male side,
right? And
we talking about gangster rap. Who do you think that actually was out there doing what they said they would do? Just grab anybody.
Cardi.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as gangster rap on the male side, who do you think was actually out there, shooting, robbing, doing whatever it is? And then they started rapping, and they happened to say a couple things about it.
Shoot, Scarface and the Ghetto Boys.
All right.
NWA.
Okay. But you gotta
Ice-T.
you gotta specifically Ice-T, because you gotta specifically you gotta pull certain people out of it, because now that they've actually got in depth into their life, come to find out not everybody in NWA was like gangster like
right.
You know, you from Compton, so you from the hood, but at the same time, being from the hood don't necessarily mean that you out there murdering and killing every single day. You know what I'm saying? Message to.
So we know Easy was a gangster.
Right, yeah, and that's what it is. Everybody confirmed in the group is like, okay, Easy was out there. You know, he was crazy and he was willing to do whatever. He might have not, you know, it was like, okay, well, was he gang banging? Like, no, he wasn't gang banging, but he was a hustler. So he basically was in everybody's hood selling dope and doing whatever he had to do. So, you know, you got to have a certain amount of balls just to be able to do that. Like, I ain't banging red or blue, you know, but if you know anything about that lifestyle, you're not finna just be in everybody's hood and not picking a side. You got to pick a side.
You can't move that way.
Right. You can't move that way. So that was my point. So I don't really get on Cardi about that, because Cardi's like, yeah, I was a stripper. Like, for real. So she's not just talking stripper stuff and ain't having lived that life. So I don't even put her in that. Like, she could talk about as much stripper stuff as she want to. Like, in my book, you know what I'm saying? In my book, you know, and then I got daughters the whole nine. I've had, you know, one daughter that listens to that type of music, the other one she doesn't. And it is what it is, you know. So it's like, you know, my oldest daughter, she in her 20s, so it's like she takes it with a grain of salt. She knows, you know, what to listen to, what the gain from what the gain from whatever it is she listens to. She ain't no little kid. So, but when it's everybody else is like, okay, you rapping, but you know you ain't been out there doing all that stuff. You know, you talking about, you know, again, some of the same stuff Cardi done talked about. You talking about, okay, you know, robbing a dude for his money, and it's all about females now. Like, what I agree with JD when it says it sounds the same, is that a lot of the ladies are just talking about, it's just, I'm high maintenance, I finesse dudes, you got to pay me just for my time just to sit here and say hello to me.
And my pussy good.
Yes, and I'm going to sit on your face.
No homo.
What else? but all that type of stuff. So it's like, yeah, when that is exactly what's being said by each group of women or each act that's out. And we're not talking about all of the women, but just all the ones that just so happen to be at the top of the charts. Why is that? How is that? Like, nobody has ever put up a question mark to that, to the point where the top, whatever, 10 songs that are by women, that's the subject matter in there. And then, you know, you get them on stage somewhere, and then they up there wearing what looks like something that the kids used to wear, the Orange Crush, or some old school Freaknik attire, or whatever it is, like, okay, or something that you would probably see if you paid $20 to go up in Magic City. But that's what they're wearing on stage. So it's like, yeah, like, how can you be mad at, that's what he's saying. He's talking about at the top of the charts, that's what's there. And it all sounds the same. So, are you mad with him for telling the truth? Or?
Yes, that's what the problem is. You cannot tell the truth in this day and age.
Right. So
you can't be correct, even though you speak in facts.
Right.
I mean, yeah, ladies, you know, I play your music. I'm a DJ, and it gets the crowd hyped. Not saying it's bad music, but for that man to have his opinion coming from the state of where he's coming from, not necessarily, we're not talking about some Joe Blow out here on the street who don't know music, who hasn't created artists, who doesn't have Grammys, who doesn't have hits, who doesn't have platinum plaques. We're talking about somebody who's got all this stuff.
All of it.
Got all this stuff, made groups.
Right.
Knows what to look for within an artist in order to get them where he needs them to go. Knows how to pull out what he needs out of an artist.
Right.
And he knows what he's hearing. So if he's hearing it and he's calling it, and it just ain't, you know, sky's blue because the sky's actually blue, he's speaking facts.
Right.
So, you know, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, did any other artists speak up and say that they were upset about his statements, or was this just all fans who feel like...
So, that's what I was saying. So, some of the people that were benefiting from that type of lifestyle. So like Cardi went down and was like, yo, so let me tell you about, since JD don't know that there's other rappers out there, let me show you. She went down a list and started naming rappers that were clearly not, you know, undressed, butt naked on stage and all this other stuff, right? But
are
again,
they females?
Yeah, they're females. But that's what I'm saying. She named Rhapsody. She named like they were naming all this other stuff. But for us who listen to music, we know who Rhapsody is. We know who all these other people are. But it passed the point that, okay, is the people are the people that are listening or that are in control of what's supposed to be the top-notch music that's out there, the ones that's got all the music videos and all of the pub and everything else, Rhapsody is not being pushed like a Megan Thee Stallion is being pushed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the reasoning why. Like, so you can't expect, like, even if you got somebody new, if I want to introduce somebody new to the genre, they don't know nothing about hip-hop. I just grabbed some, whatever, foreign exchange student from under a rock somewhere, and I done brought him out here and I want to introduce him to it. Right. So if they were just to go off of what's on the radio, they would only think that it's stripper rap that exists. You see what I'm saying?
Because that's all they hear.
That's all they hear. That's all the station is playing.
Excuse me. The question that he said, he answered the direct question as who's at the top.
Right. He asked who was his favorite, but then again, it's like, of course, he has to answer based on who he knows. You gotta think about it. That man is again a music mogul. So it's like, it's not like he's sitting around here digging in the crates like maybe old school days.
Right.
You know, that man got meetings and TV shows and everything else. He got tours to plan, and then of course he does his own separate DJ thing too. You know, one of them, you know, like the, you know, I'm a DJ Coachella or something like that, some old crazy junk like that. So it's like he's doing all of this different stuff. So yeah.
Do they have dance music for him to be playing as a DJ? He's not in a lounge. He's probably somewhere trying to DJ, getting the crowd hype.
Right.
And you got to play the hype music.
Right.
Does Rhapsody have dance music?
I mean, I don't think as far as that goes.
Okay,
no.
so she's not in that genre, so she would have to be at somebody's lounge where
right.
a DJ could spin it at the lounge with a musical fit the mood.
Right. But I mean, that separation, the thing that I want to tie in is that the separation is the same on the male side. It's just because of the fact that the female side is much smaller arena.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it such a, oh, you done messed up. Because if I was to say that basically, and we've heard it, this is what created, one of the things that created the divide between old and young on the male side of hip hop, is that some of our older guys, our OGs in the game, mm-hmm. whether it be a Snoop or T.I. or somebody else or whatever it is, you know, they try to stay like, I don't want to speak my opinion so much to point to it feels like a heavy burden on the new people to take on, to take the torch and, you know, and further it.
Right.
But still, you'll hear in some of their interviews where they'll say some stuff like, well, pretty much everything sounds the same out right now. So these are all the guys that are still involved in it, still making albums, still going on tours and stuff like that. And the OGs is saying that, okay, pretty much the new music's all sounding the same. Or you can see the tree that it came from. Mm-hmm. It's like you it's not sounding like people are automatically, if somebody tell you look like somebody, you automatically look for the differences. So when I tell you that your music sounds like somebody else's, you automatically look like, nah, I mean, I only said skirt 3 times. He said it 12 times. Oh, it's different. No, it's still the same premise. You know what I'm saying? You just sold about, you know, robbing the plug and taking the money from the plug and throwing it at the strip club, and you took her home and she was some other broke dude's girlfriend and you slept with her, and it's like, okay, now if I take those same bullet points of the things that you did in your song, can I compare it to somebody else's song? I'm really about this life. Of course, you got to throw that one in there too. And then you compare it against everybody else's song, they're gonna go down a checklist like waiting for it. Oh yeah, there you go, really about this life. You go down again. Oh, that you slept up, you fucked on your bitch. Okay. Oh, there you go. Like
balling in the club.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
he done took more drugs than you.
Yeah, he done took more drugs and survived. That's the whole point. Now you can, the whole competition. Back in the day, in my day was a matter of, yeah, you know, I'm the plug. I'm selling. I'm Mr. Big. I'm serving all this other stuff. Nowadays it's like, okay, I can do more drugs than you and survive. I can take 132 perks and I can survive while you still twitching, looking crazy. So it just, you know, I don't get it. So, ladies, don't feel dismayed at that situation because it's not solely in your genre or in your lane. On the male side, it's the same thing too. The top ones that are out, they pretty much sound the same. The outliers are the ones that they were ridiculed, much like the outliers in the female world. So, if Rhapsody is equivalent to a J. Cole or something like that,
or Kendrick
or something like that, that's the reasoning why them guys had to fight through everything, and they still get I like to say disrespected and played with, because it's like, if you don't think that for some reason people think that you can't like both. I can like a Gucci Man and like a Kendrick at the same time. If they putting out good music, I can like them both. I don't have to be like, well, you know, well, only the street cats listen to this. No, whatever. I'm a street cat and I listen to Gucci. I listen to Yo Gotti. I listen to whoever. Like, I listen to all these cats. But then I also appreciate
Kendrick.
Yeah, I appreciate Kendra, I appreciate Cole, I appreciate Jid, I appreciate like a lot of folks. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of folks that's dope. Unfortunately, I wanted to, this is another discussion for another day, but it's a lot of Atlanta rappers that are just not trappers that are here that's all dope as hell. And it's like they don't get no kind of pub because they're not talking about trapping. And that's the thing. It's like you unfortunately have to sell your soul and say, okay, well, I'm a drug dealer in order to get the pub. Like back in the day, the whole thing was that you had to impress the A&R in order to get him to give you the green light. He was the gate holder in order to say, okay, well, now I'm going to go ahead and hook you up with the label to go ahead and put you on because you've impressed me. And it's like the key holders right now, the gate holders are a different thing. It's a different entity now, but it's still like you got to meet a certain criteria of BS, quite frankly.
True.
Right. So unfortunately for the female side, the BS that they go through is you got to be naked pretty much. You got to talk about naked stuff. Somewhere in there, you got to be there sucked on somebody something. Or took somebody else's man, or had to do something like that. And if that's in your music, then okay, yeah, that's going to elevate you to the top. Now, unfortunately, part about it is that's really sickening when it comes to a lot of dope rappers out there. So now, yesterday, Rex, I showed you 2 ladies.
Yep.
And I say ladies because of the fact that ladies in their name, the whole nine. And I think they super dope, in their own way. You got one that's like a lyrical, I don't know what she is, a savant. And then you got the other one that is like, she put me more in the mindset of a Ludacris, you know what I'm saying, in his prime. Clever punchlines, clever wordplay, punchlines, all this other stuff. So for my lyrical hurricane of a female rapper that you don't see out here running around naked, nothing like that, is Lady London. You need to follow her on Instagram and everything else and pick up whatever music that she got. Lady London. Right. Now I don't know the exact spelling, I'm sorry, but if you just pull up Lady London, it might throw an extra N on there or something like that. That might be the one that you need to follow. I'm talking about she's dope. She's dope. She's from up top somewhere. You can hear it thick in her accent or whatever it is, but she's dope. But she ain't on there naked, and everything ain't about, she done pulled her titties out, or she done did this, she done did that. And none of that. It's just all her just hitting you with bars. Wordplay, flips, everything, all that. And then the other lady is Lady Leisure from the UK. Lady Leisure's dope. That's the one I equivalent to. She's more like a Luda in his prime. Is that the same thing? She's so clever. She does all these different. All of her queen speeches are like classics. All of her queen speeches, she comes out with, she has music out, but then she does this little thing that's called queen speech. Each one of them always got a dope track behind it. She's always doing something. It's always some little catchy premise to it, and she's just in there. And her videos are funny and all of that. But she's not out there naked. She's not out there talking about any of that type of stuff. So right now, I'm giving them light based on what I'm saying because nobody else is really shining light on them. They have their own thing, but when you see that the major push is them doing it through Instagram, it's like, why ain't they getting a better look than that? Because again, guaranteed, if they was built like whoever, I don't even know, built like the baddest stripper in the game, and then they were willing to show it off. Good and well, it wouldn't even matter what they had to say until you finally got them up on stage. They'd already bypassed all of the you have to impress me with your lyricism when they see how bad this thing is. It's like, stop it.
People, let me ask y'all this real quick. Would y'all have been as impressed with a Lauryn Hill if she was naked? Just a thought. Y'all figure that out at the end of the day.
I think that they would have missed a lot of the stuff that she had to say.
True.
Right. And then that would have been one of them things where, just like with Nipsey, they would have had to come back and figure it out later. And that's the thing. We already talked about Nip. I'll make it short, but it's like I'm still feel some kind of way that all the stuff that he was saying was being lost on a lot of the younger generation because they weren't listening to his music. And then when he passed away, or better yet, when he was murdered, and then some of the young cats that were listening to other people, I'm not going to down nobody who they were listening to at the time frame, but when your favorite rapper is actually putting pictures of Nip on their page and saying, shout out to Nip, and he told me some real cool stuff, or he kicked it with me, showing some pictures. Okay, this is me and Nip and everything else. It's like you weren't even listening to him, but your favorite rapper was listening to him. So now, like, now you're saying that, okay, this dude is a bigger deal than what I thought, and then you go back and start, like, why do you think all of that stuff, not just the merchandise, but his music as well, was being listened to at such an alarmingly high rate after that point? Because I was already bumping it 24/7, so it's like I didn't like I just go listen to it 30 times more, because I mean then I'd be making myself depressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here, you know, I'm listening to his stuff every day anyway, and then he passed away, I'm gonna listen to it, you know, 500 times a day. Like I'm gonna be running around here sad, you know? Because I mean the guy meant that much. I never met the cat, you know, but at the same time I looked at him as like, yo, that dude is the future. That dude is the future based on everything that he's saying. So with Lauryn Hill, that was definitely said about her. So many different people in the game, male, female. It had nothing. Lauryn Hill is one of those ones that's regarded as a top. She's in the top 50. Period. Like if you blend the list and say
male
or female, you don't have to put a gender on it. You say okay, top 50, and you go down. She's in there somewhere. Now, arguably based on your education level, that has to do with hip hop, lyricist, and everything else, you might put her at 48. Another person may put her at 25. Another person may put her at 11, whatever it is, but at the same time, she in that top 50. Whereas most of the times in the top 50, when you mix the genders, it won't be a lot of females in that group. So I automatically think that she has to be higher than all these other different people, to the point where, to me, she got, in my mind, she top 20, period. Right? So again, that's not without showing not one boob or anything else. Just her. And it's not like Lauryn wasn't no gorgeous woman. Or is not. She just chose not to present herself that way. So that's just it. So, had she decided to wear something a little bit more skimpy, y'all might have been like, oh my God, But no, she went about it.
She didn't have to.
She didn't have to. She didn't have to.
Because she chose the way to go out and she stuck with it. And
right.
That's her lane, and that's the way she did it. It was good music for the sake of just being good music.
Yeah.
There was nothing to add to it. No need to go through it all, reconciling all this extra bullshit. Let me show my titties to get the music played. Now, mind you, I don't mind because it's the genre that I'm in, so don't think I'm coming from that place at all. And I understand it. But what I don't understand is the dismay at JD.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Right. It's like you just like you said, you should be able to tell the truth about a situation. It's like, to me, that wasn't a hit at the ladies, that was a hit at the industry. Like if you feeling like a shot was thrown at the industry, saying that, okay, why aren't these ladies getting the pub that they're supposed to get? That's it. It didn't have anything to do with, oh well, whoever, Rhapsody or whoever it is. And I keep using it because of the fact that she's by far, considered amongst so many different people, she is a dope MC. That, oh well, you need to start finding a way to dress a little skimpier. Like, no, it's not even about that. It's not a message to females at all that you need to start getting undressed. The reason why I feel like something needs to be said is because I don't want the new generation that's coming up, the barely 10s and 11s that are listening to music right now, feeling is that's the only way that they can get their entryway into the game. There should be some examples of some Lauryn Hills out there that are getting equal amount of pub because they dope, not because they naked. And that's the reason why. It's like so I'll fight for what JD was saying because I know that's what he meant. I know that's what the whole sentiment is about it. Like if you are a music lover, you want Lauryn Hill, because she was a triple threat and she came out in the Fugees, but separately she was dope and everything else. A lot of times when you listen to it, honestly, I had to say it, like, I like Wyclef. I was not a fan of Pras. I was not. So of course it's like, for me, I'm like, and because Wyclef did a lot of the musical accompaniment, he did all kind of other stuff like that. Lauryn was just the face of that group. So why do you think they're other than that being their sister and their their close friend and family member, based on how close they were, that they were that hurt that, okay, now because of the issues that she's going through, she can't be a part of the group no more, because it's like, okay, without her, there is no group. Quite frankly, like, there ain't no Fugees. It ain't just Pras and Wyclef. Like, nah, ain't nobody. Well, to me, I'm like, they were the perfect mesh of all these different styles. So that's the thing. You can't, grab a new person, put them into this stuff, and there need to be examples of everything. So then you need to be, lyrical, intellectual, social rappers. They need to like, I mean, I'm saying them separately. You don't have to be all the same thing, you know, that are getting high pub, that are being recognized, because that barrier has been broken on the male side, and now it's kind of changing back there again. Like, it was a time frame where you respected the lyrical guys, the Royce the 5'9" and let's say the Eminems and everything else. And now it's gotten to the point where now, because of the culture is kind of changed and shifted up under the guys, is that now they're mad at Eminem and just saying that, bro, you just rhyming a whole bunch of words. Like, you ain't really saying nothing. But this is my thought process with this. And this hurts a lot of people's feelings. I feel like, I understand when people be like, okay, I dropped out of school and I went into rapping because I was like, yo, you know, this is going to put some food on my table. I get that part.
I don't.
But like in Colombiana, if you remember seeing Colombiana, when he was trying to send his little girl, send his niece to school, and she was like, no, I want to be an assassin. I want to be a killer just like you. And he was like, I need you to go learn the basics of everything. You need to know how stuff works. So when I actually start teaching you this assassin stuff, you already know the basis of, okay, well, this is what happens. If there's a fire truck is going to come. You know what I'm saying? Just you need to know your basic math skills, your basic science skills. So when I actually get you to poison this guy, you're going to know what concoction to put together. You know, like it's just certain things.
So he don't die while you still in the building.
Right. Or you could make it look like an accident. You just ain't give him bleach. And ain't no good way he ain't going to just sit there and drink bleach. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually know what concoction to put together to make him just fall asleep and make it look like he passed away in his sleep. That type of stuff. I feel like with music, especially with hip hop, with R&B, I mean with hip hop and rap, it's like there has to be a certain level of education. It doesn't have to be necessarily through the school. Some cats is homeschool, some whatever it is. It's just like you have to know enough about the world so that when you make your references to things, people understand it and they know what it is. So what artist resonates to you based on education level or what you understand from that person. So you can't get mad at somebody that's rapping over your head. You know, yeah, you don't understand his references. So like if you watching the TV show The Big Bang Theory, right? And all that group of super smart people in there talking, making jokes about a nuclear physicist. I can't even say the word. You know what I'm saying?
Physicist.
Yeah, they making jokes about that. They making jokes about so many different things that's over our head. We're not getting the joke, but they all dying laughing.
My thing is,
that's why it doesn't seem like it's a special ability, because they're rapping over your head. So if you're used to I went to the store, I bought me a this, I shot this up, I did that. If you're used to that type of stuff and your education level is right there, then whoever raps on that level is gonna sound like the dopest dude in the world to you. Like I was at a party. And it was an 18-year-old at the party. The party was being thrown by an adult, but she had her little brother there. So he was there, and while everybody was getting all the food together and everybody was mingling and talking and stuff like that, what he did was he went and hooked up his phone to the surround sound and started playing a lot of 21 Savage stuff. Now, mind you, everybody else in the house is grown. Like, I mean, meaning like not just like 21 years old. They're like grown. You got 28s and 35s and all this other stuff. It's just a grown-up group. So he's over there with the stank face. Like he just heard like the newest, dopest rhyme from 3000 or something like that. Like he's sitting there with the, oh my God, like the whole time. So we all look at him like he crazy. Like, y'all ain't gonna tell me this ain't busting. I'm like, no, not like your face would indicate. Like, no. I mean, it's catchy and I'm moving to it. I like it, but at the same time, you got the face like he just said something. Like he just basically opened your eyes to life, and you didn't even know that before he just said what he said. His music is not nothing in his music indicates any of that type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And that's not taking nothing away from it. It is not his mandate to do that. Whatever he feels like recording and putting out is what he wants to. That's his business, and that's how he makes his money. That's how he gets his life, or he funds his lifestyle. That's how he does that. So there's nothing for me to say that, oh, well, you need to step it up and start rapping like whoever. No. It's just that based on your education level, that's what's going to resonate to you. So for me, just like when we talked about who was really out there doing it, I automatically jumped onto what he said. He said Scarface. I was like, yep, that's my guy. So when everybody had their favorites back in the 90s of who's the best rapper, who's your favorite rapper? And the questions are different. So the answer is different. But when you ask me who my favorite rapper was, cats was arguing, oh, I'm a Tupac fan. Tupac all day. Other guy talking about Biggie. I sit there and let them argue all day amongst each other. I wouldn't even say nothing. They'd be like, who your favorite, bro? Scarface. And they looking at me like, well, you know, automatically they go into trying to talk about, well, who's the best after that. Like, my favorite don't necessarily have to be the best as far as sales is concerned, as far as what you think is concerned, as far as any of that type of stuff. When I listen to that man music, it resonated to me because of the fact that he talking some stuff that I didn't actually did. He talking some stuff that I relate to. He feel like it sound like to me that he done really did it because I done really did it. So I'm rocking with this cat. That's where he was my favorite, and he found a way to put it where I'm like, yo, that's me all day. When he said, like whatever the case may be, that's the thing. So you can't. When I saw something because Royce the 5'9" just said something. He just put something out, and he was mad about what Lord Jamar keep going on Vlad saying something about Eminem. You know, Lord Jamar really got an issue with white rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess he feels like, okay, y'all are elevating them too high just because they're white, and if there was a black guy doing the exact same thing, then, you know, y'all probably just think he was average. You know, and that's his opinion on it. But he just keeps reiterating it. Every time he gets an interview, it's always something. So, of course, Eminem, you know, fires back in the song. And, of course, Jamar looks at guys like Royce as that, okay, you are like literally letting the white guy control you. You know, you're signed to him, you under his camp, that's your homeboy, so you really ain't gonna say that he's corny or nothing like that. But, like, Royce is like, we're lyricists over here. We're not worried about what you're talking about. Like, you were in, you know, Brand Nubian, you know what I'm saying, back in the 80s or something like that. Like, you know, whatever it is that you're talking about ain't really relevant now, you know. And your opinion, you talk about it as though, like, you done been on OG status, like you still putting in work to the point where we can respect what you've been doing when it comes to the culture. You know, you've been talking about a lot of people, you've been criticizing a lot of people, but you ain't really been adding to the culture and to say, okay, this is the way that, like, provide us the new pathway. If everything that you see us doing is wrong, provide us a new pathway. Stop telling me about what you did back in the day. That's not gonna work today. So, so they having their own little beef when it comes to this stuff. So, but you look at it like, you need dope lyricists. I mean, there is an equivalent to every dope rapper that we got out there in the female lane. It's just that they're just not getting as much pub. Like, there's a female Royce out there somewhere. You imagine how nasty that is? Just waiting to blow the hell up, like, just building and just
give me a chance.
Like, when it comes out, it's gonna be oh my god, you know. So but that's the point. It's like, I'm thinking that based on the level of where you're allowing your mind to go with it, you're not willing to hear an intellectual dope ass female lyricist because you just want to see her get naked. Like,
things are meant to change.
Ain't that some bullshit though? like
things are meant to change. We don't expect things to stay the same, and it just makes sense for things to change. It's a natural progression.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the educated portion very well. I mean, but that's my education, as far as it was, taught me to use words correctly in the proper tenses to make me a better lyricist. And
right.
I'm pretty sure that someone as eloquent and as articulated as a T.I. is, right. He knows what he's saying. He right. knows what he means when he uses a word, not just something he's regurgitating from something that he heard from somebody else. Or
decided he would force himself to read. I'm gonna read one word at the dictionary every day. You right. know, and then,
I don't understand an uneducated artist, because at a certain point you got to deliver a message other than, I mean, you're gonna grow. You have to grow as an artist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you can have your lane, and you can have your genre, and you can have your niche. But for longevity, you have to be educated through the process as a lyricist to be able to reach someone to go a step further in order to keep you in the game a little longer. Education is key for that. Not saying it's the only way to go, but at some particular point, if you're gonna be spitting words, you have to pick up a book and find other words to use.
Right.
And that's education within itself.
Right.
But I don't understand I don't understand the simple. I mean, yeah, everybody got different types of rap. You got your educated rap, you got your party rap, you got your dance rap, you got all this music is under the sun for everything that you could possibly do. But something has to be in it for somebody to pick up on it so it resonates with that particular person, that particular group, in order for you to make money off of it.
Right.
At some particular point, the game changed, not for the better, where they are pushing an agenda to keep the ignorant and moving ignorantly.
Oh boy. You said it. So, at your core as an artist, I don't care if you're speaking spoken word, jazz, classical, anything else, you're a communicator. As the person who created the music, you woke up with a song in your heart, or you woke up with a melody or a lyric or a phrasing that you had to get out and put it on paper or put it on wax somewhere. So you at your core, you're a communicator. So the best communicators are the people who can relate that same story. If I had an experience, regardless of what it may be, for me to be able to relate it to everybody, that's the best communicator is one that, okay, if I have a story that I can make someone that is affluent from Nebraska, they're a white person that lives in a barn somewhere that's made, their daddy and mama, they own tons of crops and fields and they've made tons of money. They don't live a city culture, urban life or anything like that. And then also get somebody that lives in the urban area to understand my message. That's because of the fact that I've learned the English language enough to be able to find the words to make everybody relate to what I'm trying to say. That's the point. So when you're talking about highbrow guys and lowbrow guys, so that was the thing. Now, there's plenty of rappers, maybe Big Daddy Kane from back in the day, tough lyricists, classic, historic lyricists. They've been told to dumb their music down so that the people can hear it. It's like, for somebody that's already at that particular point, like, why should I have to dumb my music down? Like, I shouldn't have to change up what I just said or change the pattern. Like, I just hit them with a spitfire where I got all kind of double overs, triplets, and at the same time, that's just the delivery pattern. On top of that, I got metaphors in there too. I got all kind of stuff. I got double entendres in there, all in this, and I'm killing it the whole time. I shouldn't have to change that up just to make it sound like some play school stuff just because this person needs to catch up. Like, I'm a communicator, and especially when you're talking about I'm an artist, and just like Badu said, I'm sensitive about my shit, or whatever it was. That's what it was. It's like, okay, that's your baby. You just put out a project, or you just put together this song, and it fit exactly what you felt. It says exactly what you wanted to say. I shouldn't have to tone it down just so you can understand it. That's why people have their own factions of listeners. Like, okay, so when you're looking at it, like, all right, for the people that subscribe to a lot of the stuff that Eminem has done, let's say in his prime. Right now, a lot of times he is just flexing. Like right now, he's flexing his muscle of being able to, I could just out rhyme you at everything. Like, you give me a cookbook and I'm going to out rhyme your ass with every ingredient in this motherfucker.
Salt, taste, season, all.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, at this particular point, what did you expect him to do? Like T-Rex was saying, that you have to grow, you have to, graduate on to something else. He's already shown you that, okay, I can be vulnerable, I can bring you into my life, I can tell you about every aspect of the drug use, about my family issues, about my daughter issues, about my ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or whatever she was, issues, stuff that I had going on with my mama, okay. He basically giving you all of that stuff. It's like, okay, my drinking, my drug addiction, he's giving you all of that and giving you classic stuff in all of that. It may not be the whole album, maybe it just be just two cuts right here. But then at this particular point, he don't feel like, all right, I ain't got to do that. Like, y'all know my resume, y'all know my background. I ain't got to keep telling y'all that, And I think that's the redundancy that I don't like when it comes to a lot of hardcore hip hop guys. All right, album 1, you 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You still was out there in the streets because you didn't know whether or not this rap stuff was gonna take off or not. Of course, your music, what you're talking about is some street stuff. Bust your head, shoot your mama, rob you, sell some dope. Skirt. There you go. So you're doing all that. Album 2, probably done got that foot, still got a toe in the rest of your body, or better yet, you still got a toe still into the old life, but everything else is in this. Like, I don't went on tours and they love me everywhere. My records are hitting. I don't really need to do no stupid stuff no more. But you still ain't figured out how to control your entourage and all this other stuff. So your entourage still doing stupid street stuff that's gonna still get your name out there in the pub. By the time you get to album 5, and you've been putting in mixtapes in between that. So you got out 5 albums and 4 mixtapes. It's been spanned some years. I don't want to hear about you killing nobody no more. Because you can't still be out there killing folks. If you got a successful music career and you out there 10 years in, I don't want to keep hearing about you shooting up stuff. Like, you have to grow to do something else. So with Eminem, it's like, okay, now he's just showing you that, okay, I'm sober now, and I'm just going to show y'all that I can just out rap everything that's moving. Like that's where he's at with it. So, of course, like, I think it was what Gucci Mane was saying that, yeah, ain't no cats in the hood listening to that type of stuff. Well, I mean, of course ain't no cats he know listening to it because they listen to his music, you know, and that's cool. And that's a stark difference between the two. And of course, I feel like you can listen to everybody's music and like it, but not a lot of people feel that way. They feel like they have to draw a line in the sand and they have to choose.
There's people who draw lines in the sand because they are not lovers of music.
Right.
You should be able to find something you like by everybody. It's just, it's not like alcohol. You don't like this particular taste. No, you just ain't had that particular alcohol prepared to the taste that you like. Right. So you waiting on what you waiting on from that particular artist to get what you need out of that artist. That's all that is. Just wait, give it a minute. If you a real listener, unless you just wrote them off for who they are. Now, I mean, it's just some things I can't get into, but it ain't because I didn't try.
Right. So, I mean, this is, before we both got into the club industry or anything like that, we were musicians, you know what I'm saying? Talking about from childhood. So, like, I've played jazz, I played classical, I played blues, I played all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, I played symphonic concerto type stuff, I played all that stuff. So, I was like, I can get down with everything. But then again, my roots are from, so back to stripper rap. So people don't think that, okay, somebody's sitting on a high horse. D, you sitting on a high horse. Absolutely not. I'm from the era of bass music, and I live in Atlanta, born and raised. The only music that I knew at that time frame was bass music, where in every song somebody was popping it, dropping it, wobbling it.
Bass, booty music.
Yeah, booty music. So it's like, okay, cool. Atlanta, Miami, we cornered the market on that type of music, and the message that was being told was a lot of stripper type stuff, male stripper, female stripper, whatever. It's like everybody was shaking something. So because that's a part of my DNA, so I'm not offended at something that Megan Thee Stallion is saying. It's like, nah, that's gonna resonate to me more than it would somebody else that didn't live their lifestyles. That little Susie living in Nebraska is not probably gonna be able to. She'll dance around to it because it's catchy and mouth the words off and everything else and probably say the N-word when she ain't supposed to. But for me, it's like, no, I lived the life of that. So she is basically her in groups that are like that have the subject matter that she has, so like the female version of Two Line Crew. Okay, I ain't mad at that, you know. Did we shut down?
No.
So it's like they're like the female versions of Two Line Crew. So of course I rock with it. You know, I'm okay with it. It's just a matter of that when there was a Two Line Crew out, there was an NWA out. There were, again, the Ghetto Boys out. There were so many other different groups, you know, Smith and Wesson, there was, you know, Gucci Rap, there was KRS-One, there was Rakim, like all this, during the same time, you had so many different types of music that were all at the top of the charts at the exact same time. It wasn't just the only thing that we were listening to, or the only thing that was available to the world was booty music.
And the funny part about it didn't seem like nobody was in competition with each other. They just did what they did.
Yeah. We got a problem nowadays of trying to make a list on everything. Oh, well, is Kobe better than LeBron? Is LeBron better than Jordan? Is if we tied LeBron's big toe behind his back, could he score 81 points in a game like Kobe did that one time? Like everything is some old. It's really you remember when you hear little kids back in the day talking about my daddy could beat your daddy, or Superman to beat up Aquaman because whatever. It's just some old dumb reason. He could send his laser eyes down there and melt up all and evaporate the water, and then he just gonna die because he a fish man. And they be coming up with all these different analogies on how something is gonna work out the way, and that's what we're doing now. All that thought process from such a young age has somehow found its way into our adult world, and that's what we're doing about everything. Every single thing is some really childish competition where, again, when you're listening to the two kids talk about, Batman can beat,
Superman.
Yeah, Superman can beat the Flash. As the adult, you're looking like, I could put in 2 cents on this, but they're two fictional characters. It's not that serious. It don't even matter. And that's how I am every time they start making these lists and talking, it's a top 50 list. And I did laugh at the fact that they had Joe Budden at number 3. That was hilarious to me. And everybody, I saw it in the comments. I didn't even have to put it in there. It was like somebody put, Joe Budden must have made this list. Yes. You talking about top 50 of all time? Of course Joe Budden ain't no daggone number 3. In his mind, he is. But I
wouldn't put Lauren below Budden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Lauren must be number 2 then.
That's what I'm saying. like that's what I'm saying. It's like they didn't have enough people on there. They didn't have enough space in between.
Was Royce and M before him? I mean, who was before him?
No. That's what I'm saying. They of course with that list, Royce or M were not in front of Joe. I don't think. I think they had Jay-Z on there, and I don't know. But yeah, they had Joe Budden at number 3. So I already knew that was just some old, again, Joe Budden saw the original.
Is that of all time or who's hot now?
No, I think that was of all time. Cause y'all think about it, Joe ain't even.
So Joe feel like he came before KRS-One and Rakim? Is that what you're telling me?
This is what I'm saying.
Dude, you a joke.
This is the reason why I feel like he made the list. That's what I'm saying because it ain't of who's hot right now. Because Joe retired, he ain't rapping.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, but it's like for all those other people that's out right now.
So you to be that arrogant.
I saw that when it came to him and the Method Man thing. Like to me,
man.
That's what I'm saying. Like when he had that whole, because he was tripping, he was bugging, like he was just wilding, like what the Method Man is something.
Cause the drugs.
I'm like, you have no idea.
I mean, you supposed to think you great, but at some point you gotta humble yourself and realize you are not that dude, bro.
You are, and no, everybody's not supposed to understand this, but you remember when they had that old clip where they had Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, and they were on the Arsenio Hall show.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Arsenio was like, so who would be who in their prime? And Mike Tyson eloquently was like, I bow down to the master. He was like, he's like, I'm the baddest thing out right now, but this is the baddest of all time. He is, why I do this, and and that's the thing. Like you got to realize that, okay, yeah, I'm dope, but there's reasons why they felt like he was the man. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't recognize, I think that's the separation between the old and the young when it comes to that. Like you're not giving the generation before you, or even the people who handed you the torch, you're not giving them any kind of props at all. Yeah, you're not giving them any props at all. You just feel like this just somehow you created hip hop.
Not at all.
And that's what I'm saying. Like at the very least, you got to say, all right, I didn't create this whole thing. They actually made a platform for me to be able to do what I'm doing right now. So
who put it before? I mean, who did he put before him on his list?
Yeah. Like I said, you with me. I don't know. I'm telling you.
I'm just curious.
I don't remember who was on there. I just know that he was at number 3, and I just laughed at the fact that so many people was about to type. They had already typed in what I was about to type, was that Joe Budden must have made this list. Because that's the only way that he could have been number 3. And that's then when you talk about top 50, that's still a coveted 50, meaning that that's still a dope ass 50.
Joe is not in my 50,
but I mean, still. I'm still. I already told you how I ranked the Slaughterhouse. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, the 2 J's, like they were not, like they were the weaker links in that group, as far as I was concerned. With Slaughterhouse, of course, it was Royce, and then there was my man Cricket Eye, and then if you want to throw Joe Budden's on the back end of that and Joel Ortiz in there, now this is the thing, I had to switch it up over some time. A lot of the stuff that I heard Joel Ortiz do, which was it? I heard him do in the group. I didn't feel like it meshed with the group.
Okay.
Then I heard him do, because he had solo projects and stuff like that. Uh-huh. So I heard some of his solo stuff, and I was like, okay, I see. he got his own thing going. Yeah, he nice. You know, and then there's certain things that you see with Joe. With Joe, it was that, of course, people give him such a hard time. Okay, you had the one hit. You know, and that's why everybody get on him about the pump it up thing. It's like that was the one thing where everybody knew who you was and it was getting, you know, played everywhere and stuff like that. You hadn't had anything like that since. He would be like, oh, well, but I got a classic this and I got a classic that. Nothing had the acclaim that one song had. So, yeah, I'm so much dope rapper, a more dope rapper than that time frame. Yeah, we get all that, but nothing that you put out got you any kind of pub or light like that. You're more known for all of the strippers and the Instagram models that you dated. You're more known for, of course, the rants and the altercation that you got into, because the fact that a couple situations it's been said that he put his hands on some of these Instagram models and strippers. So it's like, okay, fine. You're more known for that than you are for your music.
I think he's just really, really. I mean, I understand having a passion for it, and I really do. But what I don't understand is, at some point, you have to realize, dog, you are not that dude.
For me, I always like when you talk about passion, right?
Right. I think he's got a passion for it, which is fine, and because he's very opinionated on it. But I don't know.
I just feel like the level of arrogance. It's like for you to think that I don't also have a passion for it. Like, why do you think you're the only one that love this thing? Like, even with the like when we talked about sports and everybody was talking about that one game that Kobe scored 81 points.
Yeah. And
everybody's like, oh man, this is amazing. Now I'm a ball player, so it's like, okay, to me, I'm just like, all right. And everybody was wondering why I wasn't going crazy on him. I'm like, look, man, Kobe thinks a lot of himself, and always has, still does to this day. And for him to feel like he had to put up that many shots in the game to win, that means that, okay, you don't trust nobody else to do it. Of course, they were starting to feed him once they saw he was hot, because that's what you do, feed the hot hand. But at the same time, it's like, he was like that in other games that he didn't score 81 points. So for my thing is that, okay, bro, you in the gym early, and you in there late, but so am I. And you started playing when you was a kid, so did I. And I put in just as much time as like I got the same amount of passion as you got for this thing, you know. So yeah, you may have beat me to the gym 20 minutes earlier or whatever it is, but that don't mean that, you know, you're not here. We both, like, you beat me here 20 minutes, by 20 minutes, but we both here 4 hours earlier than what we supposed to be. Right. So somehow, you know, because you got me, you slip in your car instead of going home. Okay, that's fine, but you know, it's not a competition on that. It's like, okay, I'm willing to put in the exact amount. Exactly, I'm willing to put in the exact amount of work with you. That was the dope thing about the Jordan Pippen thing. That's why Jordan respected Pippen, because Jordan was like, he would give everybody else hell. You didn't really see him really getting on Pippen like that, because Pippen would be in there working with him. Like, okay, you want to get to the gym? Or what we supposed to be here at 8? Oh, you gonna be there at 4? Okay, bet. I'm gonna be there at 4 too. You know, yeah. And that's what he would do. So he respected the other guy, because this guy coming in, he grinded just like I'm grinding. So that's the whole thing. Like, for me, I feel like for you to think that, like, as Joe Budden, for you to think that, okay, well, you know, I got this deeper understanding of hip hop and it's more about this, and this. For one, you're not the measuring stick to be able to decide that for anybody else. And then two, you got other, just like when we were talking about when we were talking about T.I. and Flip back in the day.
Right.
And he kept talking about he was the king of the South. And the first thing come out of my mouth, bro, you ain't even the tightest one in your state. dominate your city first, and then work to your state. And then like you can't be the king of the South if there's still, meaning you're from Texas and you still got Scarface in your state. You got, Slim Thug is in your state. Like, you got all these other people that are better than you. You know what I'm saying?
Paul Wall is in your state.
Paul Wall is in your state. Like, all these guys are more established. You see what I'm saying? And you can't be the king if you can't be, like, so for me.
You can't be the king if you can't even control your state.
So for
Don't
me,
take a whole region. You can't do the region if you can't do your state.
Absolutely. So for him, like, you can't be the best. Like, he thinking he top 3, top 5. You're not even the best in your group. Start with your group first. You know what I'm saying? Your whole day should be, how do I knock the face off of Crooked Eye? Because every time they get on something, Crooked Eye is murdering. Yeah. Murdering. And Royce is to the point where it's like they know he's like one step up on the M, and they know good and well, like, if I push it too far, he just gonna go ham. Like, he gonna black out. It's over with. So that's the thing. Like, you should have been worried about that. So you talking about beating everybody else, like, Of course, being 3, they had him above Stacks. They had him above 3,000. They had him above all these other folks. Like, man, no. And on that particular list, 3 Stacks is way down too far. He might have been like 17 or something like that. Or whatever.
Yeah, Joe made that list.
Yeah, and then of course Big, they had Big, like he was probably like 42 or something like that.
What?
Like, yeah, they had,
Stop playing,
on
man.
every list, there's they don't never have them guys close together. On every list, even when they started making them in the Source magazines back in the day, wherever they had Dre at, they put Big somewhere different. It would be a 10 spot, 12 spot difference between the two.
Next show, we doing our own top 50 list. We're gonna sit down and make that list, top 50 all time. I'm dropping my list, and that's the end of it.
Right.
And I'm gonna post it. And see Joe Budden, you not on my list. Let me go ahead and make that statement now. Lil Flip, you not on my list.
Oh my God, you ain't on my list. Like, come on now. Is it just for me? I'm like, all right, top 50. Because I mean, you got so many people. Like it's like my honorable mention list would be so huge. Because again, that people don't realize how many dope rappers that come out over a span of, in a time frame of, from me enjoying hip hop. That's 30 plus years of just like rocking with it. So it's like you ain't no way. Like that's hard. That's a hard list.
KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane,
Right.
Ice Cube. They all in my top 10. They gonna go back to back right there within the top 10. They gonna fall somewhere. I don't know who's gonna be. I mean, this is in no specific order.
Right.
This is just my top 50.
Mm-hmm.
KRS-One, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Ice Cube. They all gonna be up there on my top lyricist spitter list, and then I'm gonna start breaking the rest of it down.
So that's the thing. So because you gotta realize, like when they say greatest rapper, that's a real fuzzy area.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say greatest lyricist, we already know, we have already set the parameter that okay, they have to be a spitter. It ain't just they came out with some hits and they were able to make hits over. That's what I'm saying. Because some people.
I mean, the dudes that I just named got bars for days and probably can still go right now. I'm pretty sure KRS-One said he write.
Oh yeah. I already know KRS-One can still.
Yeah.
Like the only person that I question, because I've seen certain things that they've done in like little ciphers and stuff like that I worry about. I don't worry about because their legacy is already cemented.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cube.
Well, he don't have a passion for it like that.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't. There was never any
But if you
reason
make
for
him mad, I'm pretty sure.
I think it would be a harder stretch for him because again he would have to, just like when the computer had been on for a long time, and got to turn it on and got to update. Like he would have to. All right,
the rest of it,
I got to start from where I left off at, and now I got to update and acclimate myself to everything that I've been out of the game for.
The rest of it,
and then come up with something.
The rest of it is where then I would actually take straight talent, where you're writing and pulling bars from your head, not these are people. I mean, I could possibly be well freaking wrong, but those people that I just named, I feel like they sat down with a piece of paper and a paper mate and wrote out their lyrics. I don't think there was any input. I don't think there was any. I think it was, here go a track. We might give you a hook.
I agree with that.
I'm not, and I mean,
because I mean, it's already been said that Cube wrote for most of the people in the group.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm only naming Cube from that particular thing. Now, I just, and when we get later into the list is where it's going to get harder, because I know they have help writing. Like this ain't, I mean, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with ghostwriting, but what I am saying is you can't put yourself in the same bracket.
No, you can't.
As someone who writes their own lyrics.
You can't. As
somebody who doesn't write their own lyrics. Cube's career alone, for what he did for himself and others. Come on now, stop.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. There's no
stop. There's no comparison.
So my thing with, like, back to the Joe Budden thing, like,
do we have to?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to.
Cool.
But,
that button lie.
No, but see, it's because of who he went at. Like I would have been, because I still, because of the Slaughterhouse stuff that I heard, I still liked his stuff, you know, but it was, you know, it was, if you to liken it to sports, it's like, okay, you're not an all-star, but you are a good role player on the team. And that's good. Like, you need a good role player on the team to win a championship. You need a couple of them, you know, because you can't just have one person trying to go at it. For anytime that anybody's ever done that, whether it been Kobe or LeBron, anybody like that, they lost. They got themselves killed because it was one man. You got a whole team, but you the only one that's scoring. So it's like, nah, you a good role player on that particular team. As far as hip-hop goes, you're a good role player in the whole scope of hip-hop is concerned. The fact that he was so offended by Method Man, I'm like, Method Man is a dope lyricist.
What did Method say?
Yeah, because initially, I guess when he got asked about it the first time, he went about it politically correct. He was like, yo, man, you know, everybody already know what I am, man. Everybody know how I get down, so all this other stuff. So stuff started going back and forth, and he's like, of course, later on in the interviews, it was like, yo, man, like, stop stressing me. You know, don't do it like that. Like, you barking up the wrong tree. You must be looking for some clout right now because, like, they attacked me specifically. Like, to me, that's the whole thing. I kept thinking about, like, why Meth? Like, Meth, if you're looking at Slaughterhouse and looking at Joe Budden's and Slaughterhouse, Joe Budden's in Slaughterhouse is third tier. You know, you're the third person on the list, on my list, when I break the group down. You know, you're third. Meth was number one with Wu-Tang. And Wu-Tang is a historic, classic, all-star group. So the group by itself is like, okay, when you say, okay, well, if you were to make you a list that was, all right, my top 100, my top 50 groups of all time. Right. Wu-Tang is going to be somewhere in your top 50.
Most definitely.
That's what I'm saying. So
most definitely. I mean, a group is more than one, right? Consider.
Yeah.
Okay, so shoot, yeah, Wu, just because I'm a MJG, Outkast, UGK,
duos as a group.
Yeah. I'm just like the South. I mean, the greatest duo to come out of up north is Red and Meth. I don't care what nobody say. Well, I mean, it might be you know, who am I thinking? Pete Rock, Peter Guns, and
I didn't like them like that.
Okay,
well, I think it was Tariq and Peter Guns.
Tariq and Peter Guns.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
But you can say they got a couple of duos that come up out there. But the best to come from up top is, for me, by far, is Red and Meth. That's two ends of the spectrum. I got comedy. I got hard.
You got bars too.
You got bars.
Well, they can do everything with it. So, and I'm gonna get back to them in just a second. It's just like so with for Wu-Tang again is whatever they group is, they're in your top 50, wherever you got them at. Maybe at 39, they might be at 12, they might be at 2, whoever it is you got them. They are, or Meth is arguably regarded as one of the best ones out of that group.
Right.
The delivery, the flow, the wordplay, all of that type of stuff was unlike anybody else's. Everybody in the group had their own sound, but some guys sounded similar and their styles meshed together well. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about Ghost and Chef, him and Raekwon, their styles were similar, you know. The styles were similar, and they were both dope, you know. So it's like, it's a couple of guys in the group that I wasn't that fond of, but you know, the group as a whole, if I was judging the group as a whole, yeah, they got to be somebody in the top 50 as far as groups. But yeah, so when you're not the best in your group, and you trying to shoot at somebody that was the best in their group, and their group is higher regarded than your group. So my group is better than your group, and then I'm the face of my group, and you're just a role player on yours. How are you shooting at me? Like, how are you even attacking me when you're not even the best person in your group? You the dude in the back to my what he said. Get him, Royce. Like, you that guy. Like,
you get him, Royce guy.
Yeah, get him, Royce. Don't make us call him. Don't make us call him. We gonna get him. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what blows my mind. So that's the reason why I had to go back to that, because I was like, nah, man, you know, like Meth is like
Hilarious.
It was more so for Mel, because I'm like, man, that dude, that is like he's one of my favorites. Like it's something when you just talking about just the delivery. Like he found his own ways to slingshot himself onto a track. It's like his entry points were different than everybody else's and stuff like that. Like how he would, begin everything else, where the beat was at. It's like it's an art to everything that he was doing. So I was like, I still will listen to a ton of stuff, like especially his collabos, everything that he popped up on. What was it, the one with LL where it was him and Cannabis and all them on there? That, but then the other one where it's the Symphony. Where they did that, that's one of my favorites. Where they did the remake of the Symphony. They did the Symphony 2000 or something like that. Oh man, that was crazy because the video was so dope because they were all dressed up as different characters and stuff in the video. So it was like, oh man. But they did that in that and the LL. What is it? I always say it wrong. Was it the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Is that it? Or was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure it out, but that one. So in both of them, they dressed up, but yeah, that Symphony 2000, like that's crazy. But yeah, they did so much. He did so much stuff, man. Like Mel shouldn't be. You can't shoot at him like that. That would seem like it was a clout chasing moment because it's like that's what the young kids is doing now. They're just finding somebody that's widely renowned. And they just making these brash statements, the whole E Eat Man talking about he the best in R&B. I ain't gonna even say his name. I was like, I don't even think he deserves any pub because of that statement. But then, of course, other rappers have done it. And Tory Lanez went after Jonah Lucas. That was crazy. But the thing is Tory Lanez is talented. Tory Lanez is very talented as a to me, quite frankly. I think like with the T-Pain thing. T-Pain like, okay, that first album was rapper turned singer. He was like, okay, cool. He's like telling everybody like I rap my ass off. But with the singing thing, I think I can get my foot in the door a little bit better. So it's like then I can kind of branch out and rap. While I get my foot in the door. But I'm talking about with who was the guy I was just saying? Damn it, man. Oh man, I done lost my train of thought. Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez, to me, my opinion, is a way better rapper than he is an R&B artist, a singer. He comes up with some hits, meaning as a singer or whatever, he comes up with some hits. But when every time they pitted him up with some stuff, they done brought him up there to not Sway, but your boy, the other cat. Phone Master Flex. They took him to Phone Master Flex. It goes up there, freestyle. He's killing. So then they showed him young too. They showed him up there that's what he was really trying to do. It's a lot of clips of him as a youngster. 14, 13 years old, like they're just doing a bunch of battle rap and spitting. So he got all that in his bag. So, but it's just, so people just thought it was going to be a complete utter landslide with him and Jonah going at each other. Jonah is stupid talented. He one of the ones that like, okay, y'all done had this man bottled up and it's the slingshot effect. So it's like y'all ain't been giving him his just due. So you just pulling the band back further and further. So when y'all finally let it go, that's what he's doing now. He's doing all these collabos with everybody, with him and so many other different people. And it just turns out that what's up?
Pause?
Yeah, we pause.
Okay.
Put it on hold for a second. Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.